that, like you said, as we have kind of this block of self-help and divine love, the theme of how love can change the world in all of these shows is going to be a really good addition to the network. And so we're really grateful and excited to bring our unique style, knowing that we have a really common vision in all of this together.
Mm-hmm.
I love the title of your new show. Jason, Michael, do you want to talk about that and the tagline?
Sure, yeah. And I just want to reiterate what my beloved said, and just to really deeply express our gratitude to you, Dr. Grant, for introducing us here to CRN. And,
I'm excited to have you guys on board and to see the weekend. I've been trailblazing for like 5 years, and it's nice to have company.
Yeah.
And I love the vision that Mike has of expanding the genre, for the whole network.
Right.
So it's just, it warms my heart.
It's a sign of the times. There's a shift happening, and to have a couple hours on the weekend to talk about love, divine love, the powers of love, and how love is what's going to truly transform, as we've been saying from the get-go of being here, that truly love is the most powerful force in the universe, and it's a journey in discovering and uncovering and removing the blocks to this most powerful force within our lives individually, within our lives in relationship, within our lives in wealth and health, wellness, and all of that it's a power-packed weekend that's going to be coming up. So we're super excited. And the powers of love is just that. Our intention is to inspire, activate, and elevate the power of love, to liberate, to reveal those places in union within ourselves where love is not pouring in.
Well, and I like the fact that we've got Divine Love Talk. I will also be leading off on Sundays from 1 until 2. I think the rebroadcast of the Moguls will be at a different time, so that we have, the similarity. And then you guys will be the power of love. So there's more love. And I'm sure that very soon there will be other shows following us that will really break new ground here at CRN. So I'm just thrilled about that. And today, what we are going to be focusing on is how to move out of sexual addiction and into true love and intimacy, and looking at the impediments to that, which the whole issue of personality disorders and narcissism plays very, very heavily in dysfunctional relationships and in addictions. So we're starting off this hour looking at some statistics about sexual addiction, and it should give everyone in the audience reason to pause when you look at how broad this issue of pornography, which is closely linked. You can't really separate it from sexual addiction. So which one of you would like to start out with the statistics? There are a lot of them. We can break them up.
Well, I've got them sitting in front of me, so I guess I'll go. I was just going to hand it off to Heather, but just a few statistics. 40 million Americans are regular visitors to porn sites.
That's a lot.
In the U.S., internet porn pulls in $2.84 billion per year. The entire worldwide industry is worth $4.9 billion. 35% of all internet downloads are pornographic. The top pornographic search terms, obviously sex, adult dating, porn. Utah was the nation's highest online porn subscription rate per 1,000 home broadband users. Number one, Utah, right?
I found that fascinating with all of the you would think that with the what would you call it, the polygamy,
Mormonism,
which is still happening, there, that would have literally kind of cut down on that. But I found that very interesting.
It's very telling. And then, a couple other stats. The average age at which a child first sees porn online is 11. 20% of men admit, a keyword, admit to watching porn online at work. And so these are just a few statistics, and
I don't want to leave this one out though, because I have been treating people who are victims, from young children to adults, thousands of students over my 20-year career who came to me. Literally 98% of them had been sexually abused. And so the statistic on this was really disturbing, that there are 116,000 searches for child pornography every day. So we're talking about 365 days out of the year. So on a yearly basis, we're looking at multiply that. I can't even multiply it in my head, but that's a huge obsession with child pornography. So I think that this is a really, really important topic to take on today, because it does not just affect adults. Our children are at extreme risk, and I've seen and heard things that I just never thought I would come across in terms of what's being done to children. So I don't think that we could have a more important topic to talk about today.
I would love to add that, you know, we were talking about Utah and just the surprise in such a state where the religion, we know Utah to be a religious state. And a lot of the research that we've done really reflects, and just coming, you know, again, we come from a very traditional, fundamental Christian background where there is a lot of shame, there is a lot of repression, and those who are standing from a pulpit preaching you know, the danger of pornography, preaching the danger of infidelities, are often the ones that are struggling the most. And I have to say, just in my own personal experience, coming out of, you know, a Christian music career, I saw most of the musicians in that realm they were all sleeping with each other. And there was a lot of, you know, this lower based energy just surely for the fact that we were repressed and it was not talked about, and we were not dealing with sexuality in wholeness, but rather coming from having to, you know, secretly act out these, you know, these desires and these feelings.
Well, I appreciate your candor and your courage in being willing to talk about what's happening behind the scenes in an area that we really don't want to believe that it's rampant. Because as a psychologist, what I know to be true is that, and Carl Jung's work was literally based on this, and Alcoholics Anonymous ended up springing up around this concept, that any type of addiction, whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, or food, it is literally a substitute for God. It is a substitute for spirit, and a very poor substitute at that. And don't you guys find it ironic that in religion, you find so much addiction when people are going to church? You know, you would think that they are searching for God in these places of worship. I find that to be something that we should really address.
Absolutely. You know, and ironically and paradoxically, one of the statistics that I'm looking at right now is the most popular day of the week for viewing porn is Sunday. So there's a clear disconnect here.
But actually, it supports what I was just saying, is that, you know, this is supposed to be the day where people go to church, and yet their souls are clearly not being fed spiritually at the pulpit. And if that chakra, you know, the heart is being shut down, then, and you know, think about it. The two most powerful urges that humans have is hunger and sex. And so if you pervert the sex drive, and it's that powerful, it will come out in a way that is harmful to society and that is harmful for the individual. And so I don't think we can talk about this enough.
Well, and we totally agree. You know, there was a moment where Heather and I were actually toying with the idea of what our spin-off show would be, because a lot of what we do in our work with clients and work with our own alchemical cauldron in our life is sexual liberation, because we come to understand that sex is sacred. And it's powerful, it's creative, it's good, it's pure, it's holy, but it's been distorted and misaligned for generation upon generation and kept, as you said, in the shadow. And so this is going to be a lot of what we're going to be talking about on the powers of love.
Well, let's just jump right into it, okay? So sex is the creative force in the universe, okay? It's that masculine and feminine polarity coming together to create joy and bliss and intimacy and oneness and wonder. And to take something that is that beautiful and that powerful and sublime and degrade it into something that is debased and shameful, it is the complete opposite of what of that incredible gift that we were given. So then the next question should be, why is this going on, and who is benefiting from this perversion of this powerful, creative, connective energy that's designed to connect people and bring them to a level of intimacy that cannot be experienced any other way, and to bring them into this state of sublime oneness with the universe, which is what the moment of orgasm, when the masculine and the feminine come together, it was designed to do. So that is the question that people are not asking. They're not going very deep in this discussion.
Right.
Wow.
This is going to be really good.
Great question.
This is a many layered answer for sure. So maybe we get back into it when we come back, because we've got about 40 seconds here.
Okay. Well, I'm so excited to again announce that starting next Sunday, the spinoff show for Jason Michael and Heather Powers will be the Powers of Love, same time, 2 to 3 o'clock on CRN. And we will be continuing this discussion about sexual addiction and personality disorders and what's behind it all. So stay tuned.
You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
Credit cards are sure fun to use, perhaps a little addicting, and they kind of make you feel rich. Well, if you're like most Americans, you've got over 5 maxed out credit cards in your pocket right now, and you can barely make the minimum payments, right? I'd like to personally recommend a company called DebtHelper.com. DebtHelper.com is a licensed and insured nonprofit debt management agency. They can help cut your interest rates by as much as 50% and lower your monthly payments, saving you thousands of dollars in finance charges on your credit card. card bills. DebtHelper.com does not lend money. Debt Helper's program could have you paying off your credit card debt in full in a 3 to 5 year period. Call DebtHelper.com right now for your free confidential consultation today. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. Credit Card Management Services, Inc. DBA, DebtHelper.com. 1325 North Congress Avenue, number 201, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401. Down payment of debt may be creditors to increase finance and other charges or undertake collection activity, including litigation.
CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was the location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food, too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal, marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes, too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for two. Much more, too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
All right, we're back. We're back. Dr. Grant, did you want to ask that question again? That we?
Absolutely. I think that we don't go deep enough when we are going into our healing in terms of addressing the issue at the root cause. Mm-hmm. Whenever there is something that is as big as what we're talking about today, pornography and sexual addiction, you always have to follow the money trail and ask, who is profiting off of this and why is it happening? Because it's not just the money that's involved in it. It goes a lot deeper than that. So I'd like to recommend, because I studied this very, very deeply during my master's and for my doctorate. And what was really most disturbing to me is studying it all around the world and in the U.S. It could not exist and it could not persist without the high levels of the government being involved in it, and also without the police being involved in it. In every country in the world where I looked at the documentaries, I did the research, where you interviewed women and children who had been sold into sexual slavery, the police were involved. Government officials were involved. So we're talking about something that's systemic, that is from the very top echelons to the low. So when you look at something that is that widespread and it just happens with impunity, then you have to go, oh, there must be something else behind this energetically. What is going on energetically that is causing this perversion of the sexual energy? Mm-hmm. Are you guys following where I'm going?
We are right here with you.
This is so our lane, for sure.
But we totally bow to your mastery. I mean, it's go ahead, babe.
Now.
So, as we all agree on in this conversation, that this is not just an agenda that has been just from this planet either. We can kind of go into that a little bit deeper. But the point that I feel like is relevant at the moment is I believe that why religion has been so instrumental in cutting off and separating the sexes, separating us from the sexual energy within ourselves, separating the masculine and feminine energies, is because they know that when we are connected in wholeness to source, which is both the masculine and feminine energies, and we are in union with that energy, we are creators. And so when that energy is cut off from us, they are able to enslave. And so we have a planet that we have lived with this distortion. I want to make really clear too, as far as the pornography goes and the way that the abuse comes is not just limited to men abusing women. Pornography affects everyone. And the thing is, women are just not as likely to admit it or talk about it because of the shame that's been so deeply embedded in the feminine consciousness here.
Oh no, we're talking about children being addicted to it, and I've had students who have told me that it started out with pornography and then it went into the whole. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with the snuff pornography, where they literally were getting off on people being murdered, and there's necrophilia. I mean, it just doesn't, there's no limit to how debased and how low this energy will go. And so we have to talk about the fact that there is a force on this planet that literally cannot live. It thrives off of blood, war, murder. It's the death cult. If you look at all of the rituals, that go on around death, and we're coming up, wait a minute, did we just pass? Oh, we're coming up on Halloween. And the horror is real. It's not just in the movies. So until we go down that rabbit hole, and we don't like to go there, and people don't like to do those discussions, but I mean, I have a case right now with babies in diapers that are being sold into pornography by grandparents. And it's a generational, I call it a curse. I mean, I just lack a better word. But this rabbit hole is so deep, and it's hitting so close to home. I mean, when you're dealing with babies and diapers, it's heartbreaking. So
we're going to invite you to stay tuned. We're going to be returning to this conversation, sexual addiction to sexual liberation. And we'll be right back here on Divine Love Talk with Dr. Grant and the Powers of Love in just a moment.
Hi, this is Dr. Erin, and I just wanted to remind you that your birthright is to live a life of prosperity and abundance. You were born to be wealthy and have a rich life fulfilling your dreams. Did you know that you're the only person in the entire universe with your gift and message to bring to the world? The truth is that the universe only knows abundance. You have a mind that is immeasurable in its ability to innovate and create. The only thing that can create scarcity is limited thinking. So I'd like to personally invite you into 30-Day Prosperity. For less than $1 a day, you will learn the secrets of shifting into a wealthy mindset. No, this isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. This is an extraordinary community. Go to 30dayprosperity.com and start living the life you were designed to live.
How old are you? 25, 35, 50, or older? If you have pain, we can help. Do your knees hurt?
Ow!
Let me ask you again. Are your knees killing you?
Oh, yeah. Are they ever?
What about your back? When you bend over, does it feel like this? How about when you get out of bed in the morning? If you're like me, your knees and back feel like this.
Oh, that hurts.
I found a company called the Pain Relief Hotline. They specialize in ways to treat your knee, back, and neck pain without surgery or taking medications. The good news is if you have insurance, you may have little or no cost or out-of-pocket expense. I've used them. It works. Call the Pain Relief Hotline now for free information. 800-309-2677. 800-309-2677. Call now. 800-309-2677. That's 800-309-2677.
Aloha! Experience your home away from home being beachfront at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Begin your getaway relaxing on over 11 acres of tropical Hawaiian gardens at Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel. Voted Best Aloha Spirit by Hawaii Magazine readers. Just walking around the grounds with all the tropical vegetation, relaxing poolside, or kicking back in the sun on the world-renowned Kaanapali Beach makes you feel like you're home in paradise. There's a package to fit all your needs. Wedding, honeymoon, activities, private parties, great food, or just good old beach fun. The hotel perpetuates the Hawaiian tradition at its best. Call 661-0011 or visit kbhmaui.com.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
Welcome back. You're listening to Divine Love Talk. Dr. Grant, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Okay, wow. I just wish we had more time on this topic. But before we go into solutions, and they are very important, I would like to talk and get you guys to add to this discussion about the shame of abuse and the shame of addiction and this whole conspiracy of silence around it. Unless that can be broken through, where the children who are being abused are being told, this is our little secret. Don't tell mommy, don't tell daddy. I have a 2-year-old that I'm treating right now, and she doesn't even talk very well, but she was able to tell her mommy what her grandfather was doing to her. And she put her finger to her mouth and she said, shh, and she slapped her mother's hand to say, I will get hurt if you tell him what I told you. So that conspiracy of silence is how this continues to be the dirtiest, biggest kept secret on the planet. And nobody's talking about it because you sure, other than us on national media, you sure aren't going to get national media to really talk about what's happening to babies. I think that's where it needs to start, is with helping these children understand that no matter what someone tells you, you do not keep secrets from your parents.
Well, I just take a deep breath. I mean, I just, this thing called Pizzagate, it's been definitely a conversation that Heather and I, we've had people, we've got dear friends internationally that have been asking us to bring light to this subject. And this is a very deep, deep subject. As I mentioned, we're going into the deep. This is where we're looking at
it's polarizing.
We're going into the basement of consciousness.
To the belly of the beast.
And, there are powers and principalities, and there's a lot of money in all this, and a lot of just inverted power. At the same time, in my own personal journey, I feel like, in pointing to them, I'm always going to point to me. I'm going to look at within and go, the solutions are within. And coming from sexual addiction myself, at 11 years old, I found a Playboy magazine in my dad's, bathroom, and found what was this. And, I find it ironic here. This is where this conversation, it was really inspired yesterday morning when I was laying with my beloved wife after just a very intimate time and reading a book called Womb Awakening. We're going to have Dr. Azra and Saren Bertrand on our show in the coming days, but about womb wisdom and the sacredness of the womb and how the distortion stimulated from a gentleman who's passed on now, Hugh Hefner, who, just, at some level there is this large population praising him and saying that he freed up, the Puritan of sexuality. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like, because of him, I was addicted to porn and masturbation in an inverted way, because it stimulated Larry Flint. It began a whole movement where this, there's an article in the New York Times that just by Ross Duhat, I believe, and I invite our listeners to go into that and read what was going on with Hugh Hefner, but that this acceptance of pornography, that it's acceptable, ruined my first marriage. It ruined my sense of security in myself. It brought so much shame. It took me to the rooms of recovery. I remember Oprah Winfrey having somebody on her show when somebody was talking about it. There's a group called Sexual Recovery Institute, which is, it's a lot of money to invest in getting help and healing in sexual addiction. And so I speak from my own personal journey that there is, that shame, and even in religion, it was a huge deal, because I would journal like, God, please take this away from me. Why do I have this addiction? And understanding the truth of this energy that has been hijacked.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, and the candor of it, stemming from pornography. It's not to say that every kid who gets a Playboy magazine will, end up addicted to pornography. But I do know that a very large percentage of the women who come to me, they come to me for help with boyfriends or husbands who are addicted to internet porn. Right. And it's a very, very difficult addiction to deal with, because, as I said, it is a spiritual it's a substitute for spirituality. And these tend to be women that are on a spiritual path, but it's not something that you can drag another person onto. And so maybe you guys can address from your own journey and the people that you guys are working with, the whole rock bottom, because I've found, and I don't take on a client unless they have hit rock bottom, because otherwise it's just a waste of time and money with these people until they're sick and tired of being sick and tired of the addiction ruling and ruining their lives.
Totally. Something that we share often with the people that we work with, and it's the foundation of working with them, is the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. And like we said earlier, every time there is something that continues to compel someone to look for this shadowy kind of an oxytocin and dopamine fix, it's because the true connection with their own self, their higher self, their soul, the truth of who they are is not being fulfilled. And so we're constantly wanting to point people back. And it's still, addiction comes in so many forms as we do the dance with each other. If we're seeing resistance rise up, we can always look back at ourselves and go, okay, where am I not being connected? Where am I trying to find it outside of myself? As long as we continue to, play in that cycle of getting quick fixes, we're never going to get down to the heart of it. So I appreciate that you say you can't make somebody ready, but you can continue to inspire, and we can continue to speak truth in, because I think the readiness comes in layers and until somebody is just so exhausted from the fight.
Well, but can you guys both address this from a couple standpoint? Because when I'm dealing with a person and the other person does not want to come into therapy, it makes it, impossible to heal the wound, because one person cannot carry that whole relationship.
Right. Well, and it has to be both parties willing. I mean, we came in initially, for us personally, coming from wreckages of our past, of failed marriages, and with a deep north star pull towards purity, towards wholeness, and doing whatever. And so that commitment, we closed the door and said, look, we're going to go through this. And we're going to finish this. We're going to bring self-mastery to a place where it hasn't been. And so that willingness to go through that is first and foremost on both parts.
I would add, and it's really true. Also, we have people though that come to us that don't have the commitment on both sides. And so their holographic journey, the journey that they are on, is one of a different kind of self-mastery at this point, when somebody else isn't willing to say, we're going to conquer this together. And it's a different experience that we guide someone through, because this ultimately is about self-love and soul connection for each and every one of us. It's not just for a couple to come through it together. And so for someone who has a partner who is in the throes of this kind of addiction and is not willing, what we guide them to is to really learn practically how to reclaim their sovereignty, how to love themselves to a place where they can objectively look at it. Because a lot of times these relationships perpetuate codependence, and we stay in this, this is in any abusive situation. But to get someone to a space where they are able to make a choice of self-love, and whether that is to stay and the partner begins to be freed in the letting go of the one that said, I'm standing for myself, my own self-love, or that their choice is to, this is not for me, I can't continue this any longer. And both are valid choices.
Yeah, because there's a level of self-betrayal that you get to, where you feel like, okay, I'm opening myself up. Because that's the other thing we have to look at, is that when you bring in the energy of all these other people that you're sleeping with into the marriage bed, it's like all these energetic vampires that you're having to deal with. And that's the main issue for me in terms of being in a monogamous relationship, is that when you sleep with someone who is promiscuous, you're sleeping with everybody that they're sleeping with, and you're bringing all these different energies, into your energetic field. And I think that that's something that people, when they're addicted, they fail to look at that.
And just to clarify, I mean, we're talking to our listeners here about this probably the most intense addiction is sexual addiction. And it's not to shame ourselves. It's to go, you're not alone. And that's what I want to tell our listeners, is you're not alone in this. And to get real, to get really real, that there is a force that wants to suck your life energy away, that takes away from your creative energy, that takes away from your sovereignty and your place of just going, I feel good inside me. I feel good about the choices I'm making. But we got to get really real and just understand that, as has been said, sexual addiction is just an inverted way of giving love. For myself personally, I knew that when I found pornography at such an early age, I felt something, I didn't know what it was, and I grew up in an alcoholic home. I grew up in a hellacious environment that pornography and masturbation became a way of giving self-love. And it was unconscious way of doing it. It became a neural pathway, it became an addiction, and it continues. But ultimately what we're doing is we're looking for love in all the wrong places.
Right.
And but be real about that. The opposite of addiction is get connected to that true self, that true God presence within you. And
if you're in a relationship with someone who cannot connect on a heart level, because what we're talking about is people who are caught in the 3 lower chakras. And that 3rd chakra, the solar plexus, is so full of fear. You can't possibly grow spiritually, and you can't possibly love yourself and develop self-esteem if you're in a relationship with someone who is not cherishing you and is putting you at risk. I mean, because any way you look at it, you are at risk when you're in a relationship that's anything other than monogamous. You're already at risk anyway. for a lot of other things. So there's a lot of fear that is brought into that relationship. Oh my God, what if this person brings something home? And you should not have to live like that. People need to have boundaries and set certain standards and not feel guilty, because love does not require that you be a doormat or a receptacle for someone else's psychosis or insecurities.
It is so true. And at the same time, we are always equal to the experiences that we're calling in. So if we're still continuing to allow that kind of, treatment or behavior from another person, we have to look at what's going on in ourselves that is, even able to allow that to continue on.
Exactly.
This is all about self-love. And when you have two people that can look at it without the shame, because we have both walked out of addictive behaviors in our life, in the throes of enslavement of all kind of addiction and infidelity. And that was, that's where I came from, being repressed in that church environment and being completely duplicitous in my own behavior. So as we have called forth this relationship to really examine where we are not being true to ourselves, the more true we become to ourselves, the more true we become to each other, in able to really open and receive each other's love and the forgiveness and the healing that comes with laying it all bare. But you have to know that there's nothing to be shameful of. Shame is the lowest vibration possible. And if you stay in shame of any kind, you are completely susceptible to control on many levels.
Well, and I want to point out that Dr. David Viscott said, and I know it to be true, that you're only as sick as your secrets. And as long as you're ashamed, you're going to keep it a secret. And what I've decided to do to help all of the victims of abuse, it doesn't matter whether you're adults or children or what kind of abuse it is, it can just be harassment or bullying. To create an organization called No More Dirty Secrets. And I've decided that that's the way to go, where we're educating people to be transparent and to not take on the karma of other people by keeping their dirty little secrets for them. That's my contribution to this tremendous amount of work that needs to be done, this incredible amount of education, re-education that needs to take place. And you guys are doing a great job with couples, but we've got to really take it to now the kindergarten level to protect the children.
Yeah, and we are. I mean, this is definitely what we're doing. And I'm so passionate. We are passionate about liberation in this area and bringing the purity and the yumminess of this energy back to its divine alchemy. Because when two people come together in their purity and their wholeness and their sovereignty, there is a powerful alchemy that is co-creative and is what we're going for.
And it's yummy.
Thank you, Divine Love Talk. I'm your host, Dr. Parthenia Grant, with Jason Michael and Heather Powers, The Powers of Love.
Hi everyone, this is Fred Dreyer with some breaking news. My new movie, Highway 395, has just been released. Highway 395 is my latest movie and is now available for all of my friends and listeners to own. Highway 395 is a classic modern-day Western thriller. Action, romance, and the frontier spirit. It's all there in my new movie, Highway 395. Now, here's the best part. You can own this movie tonight by going to my brand new website, freddryer.co. Head to my website now at freddryer.co and check out the trailer. Then order the movie for a great night of entertainment. And while you're at freddryer.co, check out the memorabilia and my career highlights. But don't forget to order my new action thriller movie, Highway 395. So head over to freddryer.co. That's freddryer.co.
If you're eligible for Medicare, you need to know there is money available to you that can lower your Medicare prescription costs. How much can you save? Find out now by making a free call to Health Markets. They'll search from a variety of nationally recognized plans to find you the right coverage at a price that fits your budget. And they'll do all this valuable research for you at no charge to you. And remember, you may be able to save money on your prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge. Call Health Markets right now.
800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. That's 800-990-0351.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all 50 states and DC. Service and product availability varies by state. Agents may be compensated based on your enrollment.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's to see the memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. See the art of the masters, an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, fairy lights from cathedral ceilings, and our ancestors smiling down at you from the family love altar. The romance of Romeo and Juliet, and find the mystical Room of the Moon. And don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, make our own sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. From pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, just $18.95, and Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
Hey, that's so bad. I'm Laptop. I'm very excited about the new spinoff with Jason Michael and Heather Powers, The Powers of Love, that will start up next Sunday, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And let's wrap this up, guys. There just wasn't enough time.
It's a big topic.
It's a big one.
It is, but we will continue to do our part to bring light and transparency to an issue that is being like swept under the rug as if it's not a problem.
And we'd love to come back on your show, Dr. Grant, and continue this conversation if that seems appropriate, because it is such a great topic with the three of us coming from your background and who you are and your mastery and what you do. So thank you for all that you are doing to shine light on the dark places.
As well as have you on ours. We would love to have you on our show as well.
Yes, and that we're the CRN family, so just count that as a given. Yeah, and so what I want to say in closing is that when I understand that this is a very uncomfortable topic for people, but it appears to be the final taboo. But if we don't talk about it, then we become a co-conspirator in this crime against humanity. And so I think that we don't have any choice but to talk about it. And we've got to find the courage to stand up for, no matter how difficult the topic is, we've got to be willing to sit and talk about it and be willing to do something.
And as we talk about it, we expose a light and we show the path to liberation from our enslavement, from our addiction. And our path and the powers of love, what Heather and I are here to do is to restore, to return to innocence. And there's a chant that we've been doing from the Pistis Sophia that I'll let Heather kind of explain more about.
This chant or this mantra is O Zama Zama Rachama. Is it what? Zama Zama Oza Rachama Ozai. We've only been recording it. And it is from the Pistis Sophia, but it was a mantra that Yeshua and Mary Magdalene used regularly to invoke the emergence, the return of the divine child within them. And that's what we're here about, the divine child being restored in all of us.
So we'll go out with this song.
Hear that. Okay. Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Zama zama oza rachama ozai. 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 Zama
osa rachama osai. Zama zama osa rachama osai. Zama zama osa rachama osai. Zama zama osa rachama osai. Zama zama osa rachama osai. Zama zama osa rachama osai. Oh, beloved of my heart, open up my eye. In my vision, purity, bliss and true delight. First and last, the mystery, born of innocence are we. Herein lies all that we need, seal the holy child. Oh, let's restore our innocence. We'll see you next week. Zama zama osa rachama osai.
CRN Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. And you can listen to us on nearly any platform and device. Download to your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry episodes of What's Cookin'. And take Master Sommelier Michael Jordan with you to the wine shop so he can help you pick out that perfect bottle of wine. Stream episodes of the Sonoma Wine Report through our CRN app, TuneIn Radio, Nobex, Stitcher, UTunes, or AHA Radio, and start planning that unforgettable weekend in the wine country. They're in your corner on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and many other apps. And of course, you can always listen live through your local cable TV provider, as well as on our website at crntalk.com. For more information